Hey, and welcome to this Festival Pro tutorial video. Today we're going to have a look at vendors. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to go into the process of getting these vendors into your system, receiving the information you need from them, and kind of getting payment from them, setting all different prices for each different person. So let's start at the beginning, which is how you get the vendors into your system in the first place. Now, most events will do this via an application form that they have on their website. We have a default one here, vendor application form. And if we go into the settings on this form, we can see the kinds of questions we're asking here. Who are you? What do you do? What kind of food are you selling, or non-food clothing? Whatever it might be. And you can edit this and add new fields and, you know, adjust it as you need to. And then you would put this URL here in the middle, vendor application form, sorry, this one here, and you can take this and put it on your website, link to this form, which will look a little something like this, obviously with your background and logo. And here we can see all of those fields we just saw on the back end for the vendor to fill in. Anyone who does fill in your vendor application form will come into the registrations over here on the right in this tab, and in here we can see everybody that is within the platform. We can view their application and see what they were bringing to the table, and then we can click on the little monitor icon over here and we can confirm the people we want to confirm. We can start setting all these other bits, but we'll get to those in a moment. If there's a vendor that you are working with separately that maybe aren't coming through the application form, you can go to vendors and add new and put in the vendor's first name, last name, email address and the vendor name, mark them as confirmed and bring them into your system that way. Once you have a list of confirmed vendors, you can go to vendors, view all confirmed. And here we can see everybody that we are going to have trading at our event. The next step is to start setting against them the amount of accreditation they're going to have, and things like the pitch fee or the site fee, how much they're going to pay you. So we can do this either individually or in groups. So if we click on info over here on our confirmed vendor, we can see that there's a field here called agreed site fee, and in here we are going to put in how much they are going to pay us for their pitch. We can start setting things like electric hookup and size of site if we know that that is something that, if we know what they're going to have already. But generally we'll pick this up on the vendor contract and let them select that, and we'll sync it in to fill these automatically. If we go to accreditation, here we can see they have got 3 vendor passes and 1 general car park pass. If you want to do this on a batch of people, perhaps all your vendors are getting the same accreditation, we can click on update all, go to accreditation, and then we can just set everybody to have, say, 5 vendor passes. And this will update everybody here. As we can see, everyone's got 5 now. If you wanted to do this in a different way, perhaps you know that all non-food people or all food and drink people are going to pay a different amount in their pitch fee, we can go to vendors, run a search, and in here we can maybe search for all of our food vendors. We've got 6 food vendors, and then we can update all of them under the vendor panel to be paying an agreed amount. The next step is to check our vendor contract, and under forms we do have a default one. If we open up the settings on here, we can see the kind of questions that we have got here by default. You can adjust these according to your festival and delete things that you might not need or add things that you do. But in general, running down, we're taking their contact details at the top. We've got their site fee here, which is going to be linked to that number that we just put on their profile field. We've got the staff names that are limited to the number that the maximum number of what we set on their accreditation field. And then we do have some different options they can pay for down here. So we've got the child tickets and adult tickets, which are just additional tickets they can purchase on top, and the prices for these are set under the cost options. Then there's also the additional production costs. Perhaps you're going to charge more for the more electric they're going to use, or the size of the pitch that they're going to have. And these are going to be synced into those profile fields we looked at earlier, which will then just populate those sections for us. And we also asked them to upload all of their public liability and other types of risk assessments. In the top page text, we can see the sections that we are mail merging in, perhaps the type of stool, the agreed site fee, size of site, if that has been agreed. You can edit all of these using the mail merges here and add in and remove things. Adjust this accordingly, edit the form as you need, and then the next step will be to send this form to our confirmed vendors. To do this, we're going to go to vendors and view all confirmed. And in here, we're going to be able to go down to the bottom and bulk email this out at once. You could click on an email address for somebody, take you to the same screen. And we have a email template called vendor contract and advanced login. And we can send this out to all of our vendors. The vendors will receive an email, which will look a little something like this. You can edit this in the email templates under files and templates. And we see that it's going to mail merge in their ticket allocation, the agreed site fee, their trading name, and give them a link to come back in. They'll click this link and it'll take them to their actual vendor contract. And in here they can put in their staff names up to a maximum of what you've set them, plus purchase any other add-ons, things like electric that we just looked at on the back end a moment ago. Upload their documentation. They can save and sign this, which will take them to a Stripe payment page where they can pay using one of the methods that you've set in your payment options on the form settings, either via invoice or take them directly to the Stripe checkout. If you have this set up on your form settings correctly, you can also have it so Stripe is the only option. And now if we go to our forms again, and we go down to our vendor contracts and into the registrations here, we can actually see everybody who has paid. Anybody who has not paid the full amount yet, a deposit, perhaps they've come back in and decided to upgrade their electric and then left a form. You can come back into these forms using the auto login links they've been given. If you need to close the form off at any point and stop them doing this, you do this under on completion in your main form settings. The amounts everybody's paid will come in down the side and you can issue refunds using the refund button. If you use the first refund button, it will allow you to give a refund of a partial amount, but the tickets will remain valid. If you refund and cancel, that will refund the full amount and the tickets will be voided off. You can also mark people as paid manually. If they are not going through the form, if they paid you a different way, you can click on paid, choose the date and the time and the method that they've paid you by. If we view the vendor contract returned, here we get to see the names of the vendors, the tickets associated with them, any of the electrical hookup and the size of site that they have chosen, and all this information and a signature lives in here, along with a copy of the invoice that they were sent. If you want to check for people who have not yet returned their vendor contract, this is something we can simply do in the search, and we can run a search for all of our confirmed vendors, for example, who have not yet filled in their vendor contract. And then we can send them a reminder email if we like, using the bulk email function. And then we can also search the form itself. If we go to our vendor contract form, go to search, here we can find people who have filled in the form but have maybe not uploaded certain documentation. for example. So we can search the form for everybody who has not yet uploaded their public liability insurance. And we can see Burger Shack here haven't. And then we can send a little reminder email to Tony Mike. So that's just a look at how we can get vendors from being a prospective application on our website, and then just in a few quick steps review their registration. We can then accept the people we want to accept. We can put an agreed site fee against them. They'll come into our confirmed vendors, and all that remains at this point is to double check that we have set everything we need against them: their agreed site fee, their accreditation, and then just bulk email them the vendor contract, after which they can complete it and the payments will process via Stripe and land in your bank account. I hope this video has been useful in getting you started with vendors within Festival Pro, and as ever, if you've got any questions, please just find us and drop us a message using the support button within your Festival Pro system.